So the question we were asking ourselves today is how will coasters operate when the parks reopen? Obviously, you know that face coverings are probably going to be necessary in order to enter the park. We do know of other things of a possible reservation system, which we'll talk about later on in the video, social distancing standards, but how will they clean the coasters while still maintaining operations and social distancing standards on the ride? The moving platform coasters are the most difficult because you have to load passengers fast, especially those with high capacity. So you're going to have to change the capacity standards, or you're going to have to figure out a way to quickly wipe down the surfaces to ensure safety of your guests. And then you go to the regular roller coasters. Are you going to allow groups to ride together in twos, or are you going to separate every other row, or are you going to have it where there's only one guest per seat, alternating seats? And we will show that later on in the video when we look at what China has done in the standards. And then you look at different types of coasters with restraint systems that take a little longer to load. What we do believe that has to happen, even at the smaller parks, if feasible, is that if they have two trains, that they need to utilize both trains, or even in some parks, three trains or more, to ensure that you're constantly being able to load guests. Now, obviously, this works better at parks such as Disney that have the unloading platform separate, and rides and coasters like Flight of Fear at Kings Island, where the unloading platform is opposite of the loading platform. You could clean and send the train up, but some of these places you have the load and unload zone the same. And then you look at the wing coasters and dive coasters and how the seats are set up. Do you alternate every other seat where guests sit at? You could definitely do that. And then setting up in line, you're going to have to ensure that you don't have everybody waiting in the station. So most likely only people boarding the next train will be allowed into the ride load station. And obviously you're going to have staff that is going to be on hand to direct people where to go. In China, they instituted this type of standard that only allows one guest per row, alternating seats so that nobody is close together and you are practicing social distancing standards. Now, obviously, this could work in the United States. People just have to be patient, but a lot of people in the United States and around the world like to ride together, so that does pose type of an issue. And then you have different types of stations and loading platforms, but the most important part is such rides as Top Thrill Dragster, but such rides as this, which it's kind of like Wicked Twister over at Cedar Point or V2 over at Six Flags. You only have one train, so that poses a problem. You're going to have a lot of waiting. Then you're going to have social distancing standards probably instituted in the parks where people have to maintain 6 feet. And then you're going to have certain stickers like this that probably are going to show people where to wait at. And they're going to have to wait in those different areas until they get to the loading platform. And they're going to have to listen to the staff members directing them where to go. This is going to require a lot of people to have patience and different standards than they usually would have. And like I mentioned before, the loading platform area is probably going to have guests that are loading onto the next train. You aren't going to have people waiting, multiple people waiting in these waiting areas like you usually do. So they're going to probably have to step back and wait until they are directed to do so. And then rides like this are going to still probably operate somewhat fast, but there's going to have to be some cleaning standards that are going to have to take place. The moving platforms, to me, are the most challenging. And then rides like El Toro that have this type of straps. And like I said, the wing and dive coasters that probably will alternate every other seat because you already have 6 feet apart per row in these type of coasters. And the wing coasters as well are probably going to operate one person per side per row, and that's going to kind of probably make people a little bit mad, but they have to make sure that social distancing standards are set forth and that the coasters are cleaned properly. Now, this online reservation system, little is known about this at this time, but Six Flags has mentioned it on their website, all their websites, and they are telling people that they have to follow CDC standards as well. And the parks are hoping to operate in Georgia, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, and Mexico in midweek. This is according to the Daily News. And obviously these things can change. But the online reservation system is one thing that everybody's trying to figure out right now. And Six Flags already had a reservation system for their parking And unfortunately, I don't have any screenshots of it. But those of you who have Six Flags memberships know that what I'm talking about. If you parked in certain areas of parking, you have to reserve it online. And I think the same type of system happens over at different parks. And Six Flags has the reservation system already set up for its parking. And this is kind of what it would look like maybe to reserve guests at the parks as well. You would have a voucher or a confirmation, and on that confirmation it would list how many people are in your party, and from there Six Flags could determine what the capacity is going to be like for the day. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to just show up. If you don't have a reservation, you won't be able to enter the park. And many other parks, and including Six Flags, have already mentioned this, that you would have to have a reservation to enter the park until standards are, more lenient in terms of entering the park. And I think it would look something like this, and you would either print it, like I said, or show it off of your phone, and that would be enough for you to enter the park. It would have your name, and you would probably show your ID, and then how many people are in your party. They would count the people in your party, and that's how you would get it. And I think it would work great. Let me know what you think by commenting below. And with that being said, this is Chris signing off for Midwest Coaster fans. Until next time, thanks again for watching our video. Have a great day.